Hello everyone. In today's class, we are going to see about evolution versus learning. So one of the most remarkable properties of living organisms is the adaptation, right? The ability to survive and perform effectively under different environmental conditions. So that is done by means of two ways. One is the evolution, the other one is the learning. So if you take evolution that acts on the population level, all right. And learning is the individual adaptation within the lifetime. So what is the difference between evolution and learning? Evolution, it is population, in population level for generations after generations. There is a change, okay, based on the condition that they live, the food that they eat, right? So based on that, there is a change for generations. So that is called evolution. So it's a very slow process, and it is some sort of hereditary also involved into it. But what about learning? Learning is an individual perspective. So it happens on its lifetime, on a person's lifetime, and it's a fast process. So when we live, we learn many things. We learn to study, we learn to cook, we learn to walk, we learn to drive. So that is individual improvisation. Individual improvisation is what you call as learning, and a population or a generation improvisation is what you call as a evolution, right? And this is based on experience. The learning is based on experience. Okay, so you just learned cycling, you fell down, and then the next time you won't make that mistake. So that is based on the experience. So there are two pillars of adaptation. So as I told you, that is evolution, which is population based. It is a long-term adaptation. It happens because of genetic changes, and it is hereditary as well, right? It follows from one generation to the other. But if you talk about learning, it is an individual, and immediately the adaptation takes place, and it is driven by experience, and it is non-hereditary. So from this, the concept of evolutionary process have evolved. Okay, so what is evolutionary process? Evolution is a slow, random process that occurs at the population level. The main purpose is to improve the overall fitness of the species. For example, you imagine your great grandfather might have done some work, and he wants his child, your grandfather, to be better, and he would have made his grandfather to study well. Then your grandfather made your father to study well. Then your father made you to study well. So one step of ahead of every generation will improve. Overall, it will improve the generations, right? And what is the role of hereditary in it? So hereditary play a major role in transforming this changes. So there is a change in one generation, and that change is moved on to the next generation, okay, through means of this hereditary. Okay, but the core principle here, if you see, the evolution is not one individual changes, but it is a changes across the population. So this natural selection plays a very major role. If you take this case study, right? If you take this example, you imagine there is a snowy mountain and there are three rabbits: brown rabbit, white rabbit, and gray rabbit. And when a fox comes for hunting, there is a high possibility of the brown rabbit to be spotted very easily by the fox, right? So, what do you think? Okay, which rabbit do you think that it will survive in this environment? Obviously, the white one, because the brown is very easy to see, and this gray is medium. Okay, but what about this white? It is camouflaged. Okay, in the snow, it is camouflaged. Okay, so what happens is that fur, that white fur, gives you the survival. So when it survives, the next generation will carry out that particular characteristics of the survival. As because it is white, it survived. So more white rabbits will survive, and the next generations will have white rabbits, and the next generations will have more white rabbits. So this is how the environment also favors, the nature also favors the natural selection. All right. So if you take about nature, many organisms are there, different characteristics, and the environment evaluates which can be the best, which can survive the hot weather, which can survive the cold weather. Okay, so then the nature adapts itself to survive. For example, you imagine the animals. So they just cannot tolerate a cold weather. They just move to a hot location. Okay, so in the hot location, animals which can survive the hot locations are there in the hot locations. Animals which can survive the chill weather are there in the chill weather. So the nature adapts itself. Okay, so the next generation will follow that. Similarly, in optimization as well, there are many solutions available. Okay, so now what is that different? There are different values available. So there will be a fitness function that evaluates. So in this condition, I have to maximize the energy. I have to minimize the delay. So that forms your fitness function. So based on this fitness function, which solution will be the better? For example, there are many routes from here to reach a city, right? Now, which route will give me the less energy? Which route will give me the best, easy, okay, fast time, all right, or less delay? So based on that, I will select the route. And then every time whenever I just want to go to city, always I'll just go through it. So this is what is a comparison between nature and the optimization. So this leads to something, this has a term called the biological foundation for this optimization is the Darwinian evolution, right? So Darwinian evolution forms the biological foundation of many optimization techniques. The key principles is there is variation among individuals, okay? So there is competition for survival. So selection of filter, the individual, the selection of the fitter individual, then inheritance of beneficial traits, gradual improvement over generation. So this leads to a series of algorithm called the evolutionary algorithm, right? So the evolutionary algorithm aims at selecting the fittest candidate among the possible population. All right. So it is a stochastic search method which is inspired by the Darwinian model, right? So the general framework, if you see, initially you will initialize the population. Okay, so and you will evaluate it, right? So what are the possible solutions available? Next, every solution is evaluated and the best solution is selected, and the best solution is the best solution is passed on to next generation to create the variation and a new population is formed. Okay, this is about the evolutionary part of adaptation. Okay, so based on the environment, there is an adaptation happening for the generations. That is called evolutionary. The second part of adaptation is the learning part. So what is the learning? You got an experience. Based on the experience, the individual has an improved behavior. Okay, so that, for example, I just got stuck up in a traffic on this time. Next time, I won't be preferring that route on that particular time. Okay, so that is what is the learning. So learning happens mainly due to the connectionist model. So what is the backbone of this learning? The artificial neural network, right? So the neuron, the biological neuron are connected, well connected to help us to learn. Okay, so this learning actually it's an approach to cognitive science and artificial intelligence that models the mental and behavioral phenomena as the emergent processes of interconnected networks of simple units. So you see, connections is often it is called as weights. Okay, and plasticity is weight adjustment. So, for example, I just don't want that route. I can give a weight, higher weight or less weight so that that is not selected. Okay, so experience is the training data, then adaptation is the improved output. So evolution versus learning. So the race, right? So evolution says, give me a generation. Yeah, I'll just improve it and I'll just make the fittest one exist. Learning says, give me an experience. I'll learn from it, I'll adopt it, and then I'll just give the best solution, which is faster. Okay. So learning will allow a single individual to adapt and instantly to respond. But evolution is a generational one. It is a little bit slow. There is drawbacks in evolution as well as in learning. Learning is individual's perspective, but evolution is generation's perspective. So which one can I adapt best for the computers when it comes to a case of a computer algorithm? Okay, so should I want to learn or should I want to evolve? So the best way is go for a hybrid method. Okay, so you can go for a hybrid method, right? So what is a hybrid method? So a hybrid method, yes. So a hybrid method is a global experience. Get the global experience from evolution, do the individual refinement from learning, which will improve your enhanced adaptability. Okay, so globally, what is the perspective? For example, you imagine that you want to build an artificial chatbot. Okay, so you can have evolutionary algorithms which will do a global search. You can have the local search as well. Is a local learning as well based on the previous history. How can the search method or how can the chatbot be improvised? Okay, so you can incorporate global knowledge through evolution. You can incorporate the learning also through the local history, and you can build a hybridization method. See, for example, you imagine an optimization algorithm finds a candidate with a fitness value of 70. Okay, so using a local learning, it has find out a function with 70. And after local learning, it says it is 85. Okay. So which one should I, okay, what should evolution do with this benefit? What is the use of benefit with, what is the use of this learning? Okay, so I know already somebody with 70, but now it has improvised to 85. So what should evolution do with this? Okay, so there are two approaches with what you can do with this. Okay, your decision to take a decision on whether I can be stay with 70 or I have to change to 85. Okay. So now, this option A you called as a Lamarckian strategy. Okay, so what is a Lamarckian strategy? As soon as you see an improvement, you change it to a chromosome. Okay, you write it into a chromosome. You write it in the genetic part of the information. Okay, so we saw in the previous lectures that genes is something that store the information, right? So immediately you store it. That is what you call a Lamarckian strategy. What does the Baldwin effect says? Baldwin effect says you allow that. Okay, you allow the fitness benefit, but do not rewrite the genotype. Okay, don't rewrite it because rewriting a genotype will cause an generation effect. So don't immediately rewrite it, but you can allow the benefit. Yeah, as of now, this is the best solution, so I'm going to do it. So what is a Lamarckian strategy? So Lamarckian strategy is something which was evolved by a French biologist called Jean Baptiste Lamarck. Okay. So what does he says? Organisms acquire new physical or behavioral characteristics during their lifetime to adapt, which are then passed down to the future generation. So Lamarckian says, if you observe any change, pass it to the next generation. Okay, so that will give you a lifetime experience. Okay, so that is what is the Lamarckian effect. All right. But what about the person? So initial solution, you do a local learning. You do after you perform a local learning, improved. Okay, improved solution, you got it. Then you just give it to a genetic. Immediately you update it and pass on to the next generation. Okay. So now what is actually Lamarckian concept is we imagine a student learn Python during the college. Okay. So can you expect that the child born to that person, that student also know Python? It's not possible, right? So Python is something that you learn during your lifetime. But can you imagine that as because the parent know Python, the child also is born with a skill already with Python? No, that is not possible. So this Lamarckian strategy is not biologically feasible, right? So what are the advantages? Okay, faster convergence is there, better quality, because it is written to a chromosome. it's very easily carried to the next hereditary. But the limitations is biological controversy. How can a person, as I told in this case, example, how can a person who know Python also expect that the child also know the Python? The child has to learn to know about the Python. So this is biologically contradicting. Okay. So now let us see what is a Baldwin. Okay. So Baldwin does not modify the gene. Okay. So he does not modify the gene. Okay. But he accept that changes. Right. So and adapt it at that moment. Okay. So they follow at that moment. So that is what is the Baldwin. Right. So how the Baldwin works? Uh, for example, a student A learn quickly from the practice test, easily adapting to the new challenges. But student B struggles and learns slowly, finding it difficult to adapt within the lifetime. So these are the two scenarios. Okay. Uh, Student A's child is not born with the exam answers. No direct rewrite. Okay, obviously, student A child has to learn to become like his father. Okay, and it doesn't mean that student B's child will always struggle. Yes, because the father is struggling, the child will also struggle. No, it is not like that. Okay, as because the father, it can be adaptable. That is what is the meaning of this analogy. Okay, so the learning says whatever situation you are in, you can adapt to it, right? So that is the meaning of the Baldwin effect. So, what are the advantages of Baldwin effect? So it can preserve the novel evolution. There is no change in the genetics. The genetics remains the same. The genetic diversity is also maintained. So it guides toward a proper optimization path. Okay. Now, if you see a table of Lamarckian and Baldwinian optimization, so both learning occurs, but in terms of chromosome modification, in Baldwin, no chromosome modification. Here, yes. And is the triads inherited directly? Yes, because the chromosome is changing. Obviously, it comes to the child as well, right? The fitness improves. Yes, both the cases the fitness is improved. Evolution affected. It's directly, but here it is indirectly. As because you learn well, you can teach your child well. Okay, genetic representation updated, yes, it's no. But what about the biological acceptance? This can never happen, and this can be happen, consistent with evolution theory. So, what is the computational use is you can get these two concepts of Lamarckian and Baldwin, and you can build about with the hybrid model, which can work out. Okay. So take these two models and build a hybrid optimization method. See, whenever you want to go for a global, as I told you, a chatbot, see, you train the chatbot with the global search concepts, global data, but also you make the chatbot to learn with the local history to understand how actually the person chatting with the chatbot is, right? So this is what is in this chapter. So we'll thank you. We'll see in the next 7.